another haircut tutorial. Now in this haircut tutorial we are going to be doing around low to mid drop fade, and we are going to be doing with the number 4 on top, but with a nice skin fade all the way around. Now this is typically different for my client. He usually gives a number 1 on top, but he just wanted to try it out with the number 4 to see how he looked, and I think it came out pretty dope. Now as you can see, like on the cowlick, I am going around the swirls. Now that also depends on the type of customer you got. Some have more cowlicks than just on the back. Typically everybody just have 1 or 2 in the back, but just watch out, especially when you have cowlicks and you're going with the grain. You want to make sure you're going by its growth pattern. You don't want to just make a big old patch. Now he does come every month, but it's been like around 3 months since I've cut his hair, 3 or 2. So I didn't feel pretty comfortable using my trimmers, so I went with my Barber Pro. I'm not using my seniors at the moment. My cordless seniors, I accidentally dropped it, and it actually messed up pretty bad that I wasn't able to fix it. So I'm thinking about buying a new pair of wall clipper seniors. But in the meantime, I am using my Barber Pros, and right now I'm just debulking. I'm just pretending like if I'm gonna make a bald line. Really, I'm not, obviously. I'm just straight up right now, just clearly debulking. And after the debulking, then I will come back with my trimmers. Now, some people would say, with the trimmers, especially with the Barber Pro, they're pretty strong enough to go. And yeah, they are, but they're also the fastest way to get pretty dull easily. So I was like, nah, I don't want to. I mean, I make it go through bulk, but not that much bulk. That was I feel like that was pretty extreme for me, at least for my personal liking. So right now I'm going basically contouring his head. So on the back of his head, he usually gets tapers. He usually gets high tapers, but for some reason he just wanted to try a fade all the way around. So on the back of his head, he does have the occipital bone, but that occipital bone stands out a lot. It really stands out a lot. It looks like a it just pops out a lot. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not really the common ones. Mostly the occipital bone, they look like a big bone, and then it comes all around. But on his typical head shape, it was like a small occipital bone that stand out a lot, and then had another one that was on top of it. Now in those types, you're gonna have to mostly tell them most of the time, put your head down, let me try to fade it. And sometimes you're gonna probably look like you have a line, but in reality you don't. That's basically just part of his head shape, you know what I mean? So it's your job to make it nice and smooth, nice as clean as possible. Now after I made the bald line, then I will be doing my first guideline with the lever all the way open. Now I am skipping the shavers. I am gonna do that at the end. Now right now I am using the shavers. Now these clippers I'm using with the lever all the way open, and I'm going all the way around and contouring his head. Now on the back, I am going a little bit more greater than usual. So that, what I'm saying, like on the side I go at 1 inch. So on the back I go at 1.5 inches. You know what I mean? Especially for his type of bone that stands out. I don't want to make it to come out like it has too much of a line. Make it somewhat blended. Now, as you can see, I am going to be using the number 1 guard with the lever all the way open, and I'm just going straight up, and I'm digging in. Not really. I usually go in with the tip of the blade all the way deep, and then when I'm going up towards 1 inch, then I use the butt of the heel of the blade, and then that's how I usually do my guidelines. So some of them say flicking motion. I like to use the clipper sometimes, the clipper motion, like a C motion, I guess. But on sometimes, especially back in the day when everybody had the corded seniors, those really kind of, if you went too deep on your scalp or your skin, you actually were cutting them. And that's why I feel like, in my personal opinion, every new clipper company went down with their motor strength, because I felt like they were cutting too much. Because now, back in the day, everybody was cutting slower but faster. So they were cutting slower, but they were getting the fades faster, or at the same time. Now it's like everybody's moving faster, but they're cutting slower. And that's because if you pay attention and then you just go from you cutting the cordless and then you hold the corded clipper of seniors, it's gonna be it's the same motor but two different powers, way two different powers. Corded will never be outgone. But now moving forward, I am, after that though, the one, then I went with the 2 guard open 1 inch, and above that 2 inch, that 2.5, I went another inch up high with the number 3 guard. Now I'm attacking the line between the 1 and the 2, and I'm attacking between the 1 and the 2 with the 1.5 guard. And now I'm using the corners, as you can see right there that I just pointed out. That's the corners that I'm that's the line that I'm trying to take out and blend in. Now I know sometimes people tend to get lost, so this is my style of cutting hair. I feel like it's a little bit more faster, but if you want to make a line and then blend that line, go for it. You know what I mean? There's basically trial and error. Everything's basically what works for you as a barber. This is actually, what actually worked for me. I used to do make a guideline and then take it out, but I don't know why I tend to get lost like that, and people were looking at me dumb, like, why you get lost like that if you're actually blending one by one? And I'm like, I don't know, just not my style. You know what I mean? Now between the lever all the way open and the 1 guard, I am gonna be blending that in with the half guard all the way open. Now that is gonna people, how high do you go? Well, you go all the way up to the 1 guard all the way open below that. So when you do that 1 guard open, you don't go above that with the half guard. You know what I mean? That's the point of the guidelines. If you're basically gonna go all the way up using your guidelines, then there's no purpose of you then using to use guidelines. You know what I mean? Now after that, I will be using with the 1 guard all the way open. I'll tack the line that I left in. I left a faint slight line. Now it's the exact same thing. Now on this one, I am exaggerating more of the corners, and I am going with below the 2 guard all the way open. Now on this particular customer, I did have to do some type of a little bit more detail on the left hand side, if I believe so. On his left side, I did have to do a little bit more detail than usual. For some reason, I felt like I didn't actually go through the guidelines high enough. It might be just me, but I feel like I didn't do it high enough that I had to keep doing it. So I actually had to do a lot more work, and I actually repeated the guidelines in my head, and then I actually down faded from the number 4 all the way to the lever all the way close. Now I'm tacking the bottom line. Now this bottom line should be the easiest line. If you're struggling to take out this line, either your clippers suck or your clippers are not 0 gap. But most likely your clippers might not be 0 gapped. Now if you have a trimmer that is 0 gapped and you're forcing it and you pushing that line, then I don't know what are you doing with that trimmer. My trimmers are not 0 gap. I feel like that's pretty dumb. If I 0 gap and then I'm trying to make a bolt line, I feel like it's pretty dumb for me. a lot of people do it. So I'm basically going me against the whole world, you know what I mean? But I don't see the purpose if you're gonna make a harsh guideline with your zero gap trimmers and then your clippers are not zero gap. That makes no sense at all. There's some people that do that. I actually know a couple of people that do that, and they come back with their trimmers since those trimmers are zero gap because they're more afraid to use their clippers. Now, if it were me and you kind of like my style, I actually don't have no trimmer zero gap. I actually have these trimmers adjusted, they're not zero gap. Only the Fabulous Pro, the trimmers, I only have that straight out the box. I didn't have that adjusted anything at all. Nah. When I first bought my first pair, I adjusted it and I was nicking people like crazy. Everybody who actually got in that chair was getting cut by me, literally with blood. So, if it were you, I try not to. Especially me, I have a heavy hand. Now I have a lighter hand, but when I first started, I really had a heavy hand. Sometimes it would be dark, I had no lighting, and then I would try to cut, and then I wouldn't see anything. I'd be like, man, I'm not seeing anything. I gotta put a little bit more pressure. And next thing you know, I turn on sometimes I get more lighting or turn on the light, and then boom, all you see is blood. You know what I mean? Nah, don't be like that. Don't be like that Barber. You know what I mean? Just relax. Take your time. Everything's gonna be coming out straight. Now on the parotid ridge, right now what I'm showing, I actually, when I got in front of his head, in front of his face, usually to make sure you have a good, nice head shape for your haircut, what I like to do is I like to get in front of the customers, in front of the customers. Obviously, I like to tell them to close their eyes, because if they look at me dead in the eye, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Kind of creepy at the same time. So what I do is I actually get in front of my customer, and then I actually pay attention to the sides. If the sides are nice and square, boom, that haircut shape was fire. But if it's not, some hair is still sticking out, then boom, or it's flared out, unless they want that flared out shape, then that's the key. But on this customer, he had no reason to have a flared out shape if he wants a number 4 on top. You know what I mean? It's pretty not normal to have that. But for me, when I was cutting his hair was like flared out, and his hair was like doesn't really stick out. So it was like, for me, it was like no reason for that to leave. So when I got in front of his head, boom, I got the number 4, and then it was nice and blended. Sometimes you have the number 4, number 3, whatever works for you. My name is Rudy A. Blends. This is my fade. Boom. I feel like it came out looking crisp. If you like this video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Y'all stay blessed.